Hello guys, today we are covering scatter plots and lines of best fit or linear regression. So let's go ahead and we're going to start off by defining scatter plot, and it shows the relationship between two variables. Okay, so in general, now let's talk about the types of relationships. Okay, so it's going to be on a first quadrant coordinate plane. For it to have a positive relationship, and the scatter plot is created from dots. Created from data point dots. So the positive relationship is going to look like this. Those dots are going in a uphill direction, and the dots, a strong relationship is going to be very close together. A weak relationship would be spread more apart. Now, if it's negative, again, it is on a first quadrant, but just like the negative slope, it goes downhill. But it's very close together so that you see that it's a definitely negative slope. And then when there's none, or what some might say is neither, most of the time it's none, no relationship. We have our first quadrant again. And for these, those dots are all over the place. You cannot see that there is any form of a relationship that's going on. Okay, so now let's talk about the line of best fit. When we're talking about the line of best fit, to define that, it is given a positive or negative correlation it's possible to write a prediction equation. That equation is going to be in y equals mx plus b form. Okay, which means excuse me, you need to know what the m equals and the b equals. You've got to be able to pull out that information. Okay, so let's look at this example right here. All right, this is where you're going to probably need a straight edge, because we're going to have to draw these lines. Okay, so we're going to check, because we've got to see, it says the data in the graph below shows the resting heart rates and ages of a group of 20 people at the gym. Which line best represents the data? Graph each line to justify your answer. So we graph each line. That means we graph all of them. So line A, it starts at 80, and then it has a slope of -2/3. So therefore, I'm going to go down 2 to the right 3, and I'm going to continue that pattern. Down 2 to the right 3, down 2 to the right 3, down 2 to the right 3. And now I connect the dots. And I draw my line. And this is A. each one in a different color to help you to see. Okay, line B, it starts at 75. It has a slope of -1/3. Over 3, down 1. Over 3, down 1. Over 3. Dang, I'm hitting 3 points right now. Down 1, over 3. I hit 4 points in that. It's pretty interesting in itself. So this is line B. Okay. C, 80. And then it goes down 1 over 3. Down 1 over 3. Well, this has the same slope, but it's looking to be kind of above everything. When I look at that, all of those data points were above the line or above the rest of the points. So that's C. And now D. Oh, D is just y equals 50. So here's 50. So therefore, that's just a line going straight across. Well, the one that matches the data the best is B, because it takes it straight through the middle of the line. So therefore, the answer is line B. So that's what you do when it's saying determine which line best fits the data shown on the graph. You graph all of them and see which one matches the best. Okay, let's go on and we're going to look at number 6. Okay, because for number 6, it's not directly in slope-intercept form. So what I have to do first is go through and rearrange into slope-intercept form. Okay. So I start with A. And I'm going to move it over. So I'm going to end up with, subtract 2x. Subtract 2x. So I have 3y equals -2x minus 12. Divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3. So I get y equals -2/3 x minus 4. I have -4 down to over 3, but I got to go in both directions. So I'm going to go up to over 3, up to over 3. Whoa. That I can already tell is like not going through most of the points. So that one's out. Okay. B. Subtract 3x. Subtract 3x. And we end up with 2y equals -3x minus 8. Divide by 2, divide by 2. And we get y equals -3/2 x minus 4. Okay, so we have 4, so we can't even go down 3, so we got to go up. 1, 2, 3 over 2. 1, 2, 3 over 2. 1, 2, 3 over 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 over 2. Oh, but wait a minute. I just made big boo-boos. That's a negative slope. This is a positive slope line. This has a positive slope. So therefore, this is out. This has a negative slope. So therefore, this is out because I just graphed this all wrong. Because this is supposed to be down to the right 3. So it would be up to the left 3, which means this line is out when you graph it, which is going to be the same for this blue one. So now I don't even have to graph once I solve because I see what the slope is. So now I'm looking at this. So I've got subtract 2x, subtract 2x. So I have for C, I have negative 3y equals negative 2x plus 12. Divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. Y equals, oh, this is a positive 2/3 x minus 4. Okay. So negative 4, what's that up to? Up 2 over 3. There, that's this line, which is below everything. So therefore, that one's out. So by process of elimination, it's got to be D, but let's prove it. So we subtract 3x, subtract 3x, negative 2y equals negative 3x plus 8. Divide by negative 2, and we get for dy equals 3/2 x minus 4. That's the negative 4 up 3 over 2. This is where we've got where blue was going, except I was plotting wrong. So there's D, which is my correct answer. Ooh, that green doesn't show up very well. There, that showed it up a little bit better so you can see. Okay, now we're moving on to linear regression. This is where we get to do our handy dandy calculator, and it helps us quite a bit. Okay, I don't know what to do to get rid of this. All right. Try to get rid of. Okay, I figured out if I sit over here, this side, I can block that glare. Okay, so in our calculator, when it says the linear regression, it is a method used to find the line of best fit given a set of data. Sometimes our numbers are just too big to deal with. So it's easier for us to find that information in the calculator. So in our calculator, I think we did some of this last year as well. We're going to take information and we're going to plug it in. All the X values go in L1, all the Y values go in L2. So we click these buttons, Stat, Enter. So I'm going to go to the calculator and I'm going to hit Stat. We want to edit. Edit is highlighted in black, so I press Enter. I want to clear what's in here right now, so I'm going to arrow up and then I'm going to hit Clear and Enter. I'm going to arrow over to the left, to the right, arrow up to the L2, clear, enter. Remember, you can pause and listen to all of these directions again. Now, the X values, I've got to first determine when I'm looking at this, which represents X and which represents Y. Okay, so the data in the table below shows the average temperature in northern latitudes. Well, based upon where it's located, the temperature depends on its location. So temp depends on location. So therefore, this is X and this is Y. Okay. So now I'm going to input this information. So So that means since this is X, that means this is L1, this is L2. So we just type them in now, making a video, excuse me. Okay, so we have 0, enter, 10, enter, 20, enter, 30, enter, 40, enter, enter, 60, enter, 70, enter, 80, enter. Now I'm going to arrow to the right and I'm going to put in L2, which is the Y value. 79, enter, 81, enter, 79, enter, 68, enter, 58, enter. You want to make sure that you have the same amount of data in both columns, because otherwise it's going to come up telling you error. And now just double check to make sure that you put your data in correctly. Now we move on to the second step, to find the line of best fit. Okay, so to enter the data, we followed these steps. To find the line of best fit, we're going to follow these. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to hit stat. Stat. We want the calculator to calculate something for me. So I'm going to go over to calc. So we hit stat, arrowed over to calc, and now I'm looking for line reg. If I look at line reg right here, len reg, that looks like y equals mx plus b form. It's just the only difference is it says ax instead of mx. This is the y equals mx plus b form. So now I either scroll down or I can hit the number 4, and then I'm going to hit enter until it actually calculates. And you'll notice, whoa, it came up with this. Now, when you're looking at this, our rule of thumb, or what we're going to follow, is we're going to round to the 100th place. Okay, so when we're writing our equation, which here's our information, what you want to remember is round to 100th place, but you've got to round correctly. So if I'm looking at this, the equation I'm going to write is y equals, the a is the m, so it's going to be negative 1.13. So I've got to look at the 6 behind it. So that's going to cause this to I typed something in wrong. Just a second, guys. Okay. I realized, because of course I've got the answer key in front of me, that my answer was not the same. So what I did, this is how you can use your answer keys when you're checking your work. I noticed I did not input information correctly. I put a 4 there when it was supposed to be a 43. Okay, so I went back and I just scrolled down, and now I'm going to type in 43, enter, and now I just go back and recalculate. So I'm going to hit stat, arrow of the calc, hit 4, and enter, so that it calculates it. Now we have the correct information. So I have negative 1.07 because the 1 behind the 7 causes it to just stay a 7, plus 92.87, or because it's repeating, you could put the bar over the 6. I would accept both because it's repeating. All right, now we're going to actually, I'm going to actually just round to the 100th, because otherwise these answers for the next problems are going to be incorrect. Now we take our equation and we use it. Okay, so we're going to have estimate the average temperature. So therefore I'm looking for the y with a latitude of 48. So this is what x equals. So I'm going to have y equals negative 1.07 times 48 plus 92.87, which that gives me an answer of y equals 41.51 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. Let's talk about number 6. Okay, you input the same things. You get your equation. Okay, what you need to make sure that you pay attention to is we've got to determine which one depends on which is X and which is Y. Okay, so your weight determines so the BMI depends on what your weight is. So this is X, this is Y. Put this up so you can see. So based on that, Sam is the same height as the people in this group. If he has a BMI of 25, that means we're given Y. We're looking for his weight, which is X. So that means I'm going to plug the 25 in for the Y in that Y equals mx plus b form of the equation that we end up with. Okay, so real quick, we go back to stat, enter, enter, clear, enter, input the data, enter. Make sure we entered it correctly. Seven, enter. Now we go back to stat, calc, 4, enter, enter, enter. And we get the equation. Remember, we're rounding to the hundredths. So we have y equals 0.14x minus 0.25. So now we plug in. So I have 25 equals 0.14x minus 0.25. And now we solve. So we add 0.25, add 0.25. So we get 25.25 equals 0.14x. Divide by 0.14. And we get that x equals 180.36 pounds. Okay, this is all you have to do for taking the notes at night. We will finish the notes in the homework in class. Have a great day.